Hey guys, Coach Mac, playfastfootball.blogspot.com, and today we're going to do a little different format of a blog. We're going to do a little bit of promoting tomorrow night on Glazier clinics. If you have a Glazier season pass or a Glazier online pass, I will be doing a live webinar at 7 o'clock, and I will be doing it on Pistol Veer with key screens. Okay, so I'd like to just take some time on the website, on the blog right now. Thank everybody for checking it out. It's been going good so far. We are into spring football now, so hopefully I'm going to be able to start putting up some film and some things up there so we can back up some of the concepts that we've already talked about. And since tomorrow the webinar is going to be on the Pistol Veer with key screens, I thought that I would put up on there today some of the cuts from the other day that we talked about in using the Pistol Veer and how to teach it first day of spring, how we look at it when we are not in pads, we're just in helmets, how we can use it on the field to use as a teaching tool. So what I did was I took about 10 or 12 cuts the other day from our first day teaching the Veer. It's got brand new quarterbacks in there, it's got young kids, 9th graders, and some kids that have never played football before. And what we do is we turn the field. All right, we do the drill sideways on the field, coming out from a sideline as opposed to going into an end zone. What that allows us to do is it allows us to put the ball right on one of our white field lines or 5-yard lines that are already out there on the field, so we don't need any extra dummies or props to do the drill. We put the ball right on that white line with the center, and then the quarterback and the tailback are directly on that white line. Now when we get into teaching the Veer play, all right, we're going to have our 5 offensive linemen with our quarterback and our running back, and then we're going to have 6 in the box. Usually start with a standard even front with a 1 and a 3 and 2 inside backers, 6-man box. And it gets our linemen used to making calls between the guard and the tackle, the guard and the center, gets them used to declaring what backer that they're going to work up to. And then what it also does is it gets our quarterback used to meshing with the tailback. All right, and then what happens is since we're on that white line, what we can see is we can see the quarterback's steps and his footwork. We can see the running back steps and his footwork. We can see how close on the white line that mesh is, okay? And then we can take a look from there to see if it's the quarterback's footwork or if it's the tailback's footwork. We can see how quick the tailback's getting to the mesh. We can see if the quarterback is getting up into the line of scrimmage at all. So it's a great teaching tool for us on that white line where we can see a lot of things that we maybe wouldn't be able to point out as easily if we were just working standard in and out, going into the end zone or out of the end zone, all right, on the football field as it normally is. So we use those white lines basically as a tool to check the footwork and the aiming point of our tailback, to check the footwork of our quarterbacks. But then we also use that white line to try and tell the tailbacks that we want to keep the Veer on the front side of that white line. And we try and get it to where those tailbacks cannot go on the opposite side of that white line. If we're running Veer to the right, I don't want my tailbacks on the left side of that white line. And the reason for that is we're trying to teach the Veer play as a front side A, B, C gap play. In other words, it doesn't have the same standard 3 options as your zone play. You know, your zone play would be a play that you can either bang, you can bend back, or you can bounce to the outside. Your Veer play really only bangs or bounces. It never really bends back. The reason being is up front your guys are down blocking and gap blocking. And what that means is they are actually blocking guys down back across that white line and getting movement, all right? Not only is the movement lateral, but sometimes the movement tends to be back into the cutback lanes, all right? So since there's not actually a zone scoop overtake, all right, you never really get the possibility of cutback unless for some reason the defense fits their gaps wrong, or maybe you catch them at a blitz or a stunt and they don't hit it right or they don't react properly, and there is just a huge gaping hole that the tailback sees and he cuts back. Now, when coaching running backs, one thing to keep in mind is let running backs run. We're going to try and teach them the course of the Veer. We're going to try and teach them the footwork that we want them to take. We're going to try and teach them how to get to the mesh point, and we're going to try and teach them how to stay tight in that A gap. Okay? From there, we're going to try and teach them how to keep it A, B, or C gap. All right? So when we're doing this drill on that white line, we can do all those things. Bottom line, if a tailback sees a cutback and he wants to cut back on his own, sometimes you just have to let tailbacks run. Okay? When you have tailbacks that have vision or balance or good footwork, let them run to daylight. Now, when we teach it, we try and tell them, hey, because of the blocking scheme, this is where we think the play is going to be. This is where we think the play should hit. If they see something within their vision, we always allow them to run to daylight. All right, so the drill is kind of multifaceted, multi-purpose, where it allows us to do different things. Setting the end zone camera up behind the drill and behind the quarterback allows us to take a good look and use it as a teaching tool. All right, again, tomorrow, all right, live webinar, Glazier Clinics, if you're a Glazier season online pass holder. All right, live webinar, 7 o'clock, pistol veer with key screens. All right, I'll be going through, all right, how we run the pistol veer out of 2x2, 3x1. I'll get into some two-back stuff, and then I'll talk about how we make it a true give with a fullback kick. I'll talk about how we make it a double option with a fullback, what we call a bluff to the opposite perimeter, still reading the 5 technique. And we'll talk about 2x2, 3x1, and some 20 personnel two-back stuff where we actually run triple option using wide receivers as screen players. Okay? All right, again, I hope the film that I have up there of our cuts from the other day, about 10 or 12 of those cuts, I hope they give you a good idea of how to do that drill. Hope they give you a good idea to see first day of spring, new quarterbacks. You can see our footwork's kind of all over the place. So that's a starting point for you to look at and see how we're going to coach through that to make it better, and the coaching points that we're going to have to use to make it better. Tomorrow when I do the PowerPoint presentation online, I'm not allowed to use any film. All right, so I'll do a PowerPoint presentation with some slides on the blocking schemes, the path of the back. I'll correct some of the things that we've adjusted over the last 6 months or so. And you know, again, if any of you guys out there are Glazier season pass holders, get online tomorrow night, check it out. Hopefully I give you guys something that you can use. Again, I appreciate everybody checking the blog out. I appreciate everybody that's checking us out on YouTube. Hopefully it's helping you guys out. And I know for me it's helping me reconfirm what I feel and I believe are things that have led us to some success here in my program and coming off one of the most successful years in my program. Okay, so check us out tomorrow. All right, Tuesday, May 7th, 7 o'clock live webinar. Questions and answers afterwards. I appreciate all you guys checking it out. If you're there tomorrow, hopefully I can give you something you can use. Remember, your kids don't play well until they play fast.